Greetings, friends. This is Kara. Welcome to the Big Mess. Now that the otherworldly mist of the holiday season has lifted and human time has reasserted itself, it's time to look back on what we've done and what we want, the lessons we've gleaned, and what we want to do to move forward. Which obviously that's what planners are for, so yay, it's the best time to do that. This, like I've said, is the last month of last year, obviously December, so let's get in it. When we first open it, I always have some of these large tabbed stickies from sticky pages that are tabbed from the Happy Planner. I do want to note that all of the planners that I've used through the end of last year, there was a good 3 months of them that I used that were a complete hodgepodge that I had made up from things in my stash that I hadn't finished out from before. And my entire setup for next year is things I had here. Yes, that is far too much stash. So we're going to use it all up. And I'm using a lot that is very useful, but it's a transitionary period. So we'll get on with that. First of all, my large sticky notes. Secondly, I have a metal ruler and a couple of metal templates. This is my front dashboard. My totem animal, my top totem animal is a bat. So I got the vellum that I've put in this thick plastic to protect it. And I can't remember where I got it, but I believe I got it from Etsy. I love it. I've had it for 3 years? Question mark. So I obviously love that. My second dashboard is, now the rest of these dashboards are the whiteboard, I believe, whiteboard dashboards you can get in Happy Planner companion kits. Anyway, so this section is my master section. I don't know why many people call this the catch-all. That doesn't float my boat. So this is my master section. Here are my sticky notes. I just double tape them, the backs of them, and use them down. This looks like I use them a lot, but I don't. I just use them for very temporary items in my planner. I don't know if it's because we have cats or because where we live has a special gift of dust, but almost immediately they become not sticky anymore. So I don't rely on them for anything even semi-permanent. Obviously, I'm using them here in this video though, so there you go. This first section, if you watched my last video, I will refer to it as the upside down video. Not sure how I worked that, but obviously I did. This was the vision board that I had for the month. I think you call this a vision board. Well, it's not really a vision board. Anyway, it's a decorative board, decorative layout for the beginning of the month. Loved the way it turned out. Loved to open it to it every morning. Very, very pleased with the way that turned out. So that makes me very happy. This is my inbox. I have rotated through multiple variants of use here. And even through the end of the month, I was working with this, seeing what I wanted, how I wanted to use it. So you will see there's a few changes to the categories I have here. But I am using a soap layout. This was a Faith layout from the Happy Planner. I believe they've changed the layout. I'm not certain. Obviously, I'm not using it for Faith planning, but I loved the 3 divisions. Up here, I call this my Fill the Sponge section. this is where I have my top 3. I also, in 2023, my word of the year was celebrate. So I was using this section for things to celebrate, and I go to the observances sites. National Today is usually one I go to. You can also go to Brownie Locks. Time and Date has some. Anyway, but National Today seems to have the most comprehensive look at it. So I love that. I loved it so much. I'm continuing on with it through 2024. I like it because not only does it start my day with a smile when I look at it, but I frequently use it to make plans with. So things like food or fun things to use as deco inspiration for planner lineup, my planner spreads. Perfect, love it, very fun. At first of this month, I was tracking my dreams. I was having a huge variety of strange dreams just as I was waking up. That didn't continue, so obviously I didn't use that anymore. And I was using this as a brain dump. I've changed this, I'll show you in a couple minutes, but I've changed this and I am really enjoying the way that I have changed it. When I look at a layout of any sort that I've done, if it's 75 to 80%, it's okay in the way that I have used it. I've used it enough to be okay with that. If it's 80% or more, I'm very happy with the way that I've used it. So this one's not quite 75%, but I was playing with it a little bit. So I'm okay with this spread. As you see, I am using this as some of my lettering practice. This one I didn't do too badly on. This one I was able to use to effectiveness. This one I did get a little bit distracted. Yule and the upcoming holiday seasons from this one. And then this one you can see I actually used completely. In fact, this day is not truly blank. I left it blank because it was no interruptions day, so I didn't want to interrupt myself. I'm hilarious. No one knows this, but I'm hilarious. I did want to note that I love the clear page finders. So a huge number of my page finders will come from the packaging on Happy Planner products. This is one of the back sections of the plastic hangers that they use in stores for hanging and selling the objects. I just cut it down to fit this. I believe usually the ones that I like the best, at least, are the ones that come off of the full-size Happy Planner, but I don't use that currently because I'm not working outside the home. And I use the large ones when I was working outside the home. So, excuse me. I do prefer thumb tabs. So I have purposely made thumb tabs for all of my page finders within each section. So like I said, each section is headed with a whiteboard or white erase dashboard that's numbered. Then the thumb tabs are attached to page finders within each section. Because of that, I was able to put my pens, 2 of my pens up top, and this system works very, very well for me. Makes my heart happy. The next section that I have is my master month. Like I said, this is my master section. This is where I record things that come out of my checking account. So anything debit, online purchases, auto auto pay things and events that are going to probably cost money. Anything that's going to, that I expect to come out of that. I made a thumb tab page finder out of this large envelope from Happy Planner, and it has worked very, very well. I'm very happy about that. Okay, so these are the master weeks. Like I was mentioning earlier, I use those holidays from before, and frequently will use them to inspire my decoration or meal choices, activity choices sometimes. This one I was practicing with the with stuff from Creative Fabrica, and then I put them on and used my Cricut to cut them out. Obviously, well, to me they are too small. The decorative ones are too small, and when I did use them, the very small ones, they were a little too large for icons. So lesson learned. I did use this through that week. Maybe not quite to 75%, but not bad. This week I actually really enjoyed making. It was the last of several sticker books, and it was very fun. I enjoyed the colors. I enjoyed the energy and everything, but it is far too much for functional planning for me. I have a hard time just finding the task sections in each day. Like I said, I love it. It was fun, but didn't quite work well enough for me. But you can see I did use it, so again, not quite 75%, but very fun. This week was a real lesson. As you can see, I barely touched this one. I love the top deco with the ornaments hanging down and everything. I actually like the look of the linear layout, but I don't know what it was. But hello, kitten. Are you here to say hello? Say hello to everyone. Silly girl. You have to get down now. Okay? Okay, have to get down. Now give me kisses. Mwah. Down, down. Yes, down. So like I said before, I enjoyed the layout. The look about that much, but past that obviously I didn't use it. So, lesson learned. Now, this one, for the thumb tabs, what I'll do is I'll take they normally go in this way with the tab at the top. I just flip them over. These are the line templates, check it off templates. I have lots of these. I use them on a very, very regular basis. So on this one, I very much enjoyed this spread. You can see I used it a lot. These were, again, graphics from Creative Fabrica. They did end up being too large, but what can I say? I love chocolate. I needed to have large ones. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to use these graphics again. I'm going to shrink them down a little bit. And the other thing that I want to do in this, when I do it the next time, is not have it in a linear fashion. Again, I'm just realizing that linearly, I don't know what that word is. If it is a word, it's just not what draws me back to using my planner. So, lesson learned, but I still love the spread. I love the colors. I usually will box I will usually put my task list in with my template. But this week I had extras. Like I said, these were a bunch of extras I was using off of some of my planner books. So they just really went with this. So yeah, those are the lessons that I've learned from my master section here. Linear decoration doesn't work for me. Who knew? I don't know that I've done this very much. And at the beginning of the month, I thought it was going to be fine. Obviously, not so much. The next section we're not going to talk about too much because it is in development. I was using a different structure and that wasn't working either, but I have added it. This is my work section. This is for my channel and my products that I produce. So this is in construction for this year, 2024. Excuse me. The next section is my mental section. Through this last year, I've had several ups and downs in my mental and physical health. So previously I was tracking mental and physical health in my master planner. I've broken those out into 2 separate sections to really get down to the nitty-gritty, doing some deep dives, doing some shadow work, figuring out what's going on. And I plan on doing that for this year. I'm planning on using a lot of tracking. So this is my mental month. Usually I like the clear ones, but these are, you might not be able to see these, but they are smiley faces that I use to track my overall, the way I feel overall with how I did that day. Mainly productivity, getting out of bed, getting life lived effectively. Very much have enjoyed this. Obviously, I have used this almost 100%. The little blurbs in the boxes are about why I got the smiley face or frowny face or meh face that I did. This has worked out wonderfully. I'm pretty much going to keep this. I'm going to make it a little easier to track for 2024. But I'm going to leave this pretty much as it is, because it is working. So in my weeks, my master weeks, this has been this side has been very unsettled. This side I've used about 75%, not quite, but about 75% through the month. Very happy with it. I have made one change. This side I had no idea what I was doing. I did use this to brainstorm my word of the year. I did finalize it on willful. Yes, I am a very horrible speller, but this was on purpose. There are 2 L's because I want it to be full. Not only willful, but full. So, there's that. Yes, I recognize that I am the world's worst speller. These are the symptom tracking that I have, and I've used that, but eventually I change where that location is. This month, again, this was not, it just wasn't working. I couldn't figure out what to put here. Didn't have a good plan for using it. Had my symptoms here, but this felt forced, and I didn't feel like it was a good use of the space. I am realizing at this point that the gratitude list was feeling forced as well. I do quite a bit of long form journaling, and a lot of that goes in there already, and I didn't need a spot for that, so I have switched that out for my symptom tracking. That is working very well. Having moved that, I didn't use this section at all. This section I used very minimally, but I did short form journal, so that was okay on this side. Then I realized that part of my issues, just part, are that I have so many projects, so many tasks running around in my head that, brain dump them, get them out of the way. So now I have a running list of tasks and projects and things I have a full project book that's separate to this because I take it with me wherever I'm doing that project. But this has worked very well. This feels very, very good to my little brain. So I'm very happy that I have made this switch. I was speaking earlier about my tabbed stickies. This is one of the uses for them when I'm having a brain scramble about, because I've come up with how I'm going to do a project or finish a project or those kinds of things. I put them on here, and then these I can immediately put into my project book, but you can see they just don't stick. They, brand new ones, old ones, sticky notes just don't stick for me. Last week I don't know if I was just too busy with all of the stuff we did, or if I just didn't have experienced enough symptoms for them to crop up in order for me to record them, which makes me happy. And I pretty much, I'll totally give myself a leeway, some grace and leeway on these, because it has been a busy month. And so I feel pretty good about the way I've used these. I'll be keeping this process between this page and this page, I'll be keeping that through 2024. Until I change my mind. This section is my physical section. These I am using the homeschool extension. No, I don't homeschool. I don't have children at home. But I like the nitty-gritty that it gets. I don't know that after this year, after I really dig into my physical health, that I will be continuing to use it. But as of this year, it's working great. It works great. You can see that through the month, I really enjoyed having a simple place to put simple but meaningful targets. So this comes from my Fitbit. These are the details from my Fitbit. Don't look at the details. This is sad. But this is where I can track my symptoms, the weather, which I then compare against my physical or my mental month to see if those are affecting each other, which I'm sure they are. But that's what I'm doing this year, is tracking those so that I can find that out. Again, I've filled this up almost 100%. Love that, keeping that the way it is. This is another layout within that homeschool planner layout. I use it roughly the layout that it was, but this is for my food planning, my food planning and preparation. Over here I put the available meals that we have. I never stick to, if I assign a meal per day, I never stick to that. But having it over here is fabulous, and then recording which ones we like and actually use, and whether or not we eat out or something, that is wonderful. That worked out very, very well. I'll be keeping this. I have to alter these boxes a little bit. And if there's a 5-week month, I do have to make this box. Fine, good. It works so well that I don't mind that. I have added, for this upcoming year, I'm going to track my physical progress here, since I don't have a clean just lines or dot grid over here. I don't have a clean place to put my tracking the way I do in my other two areas. So this, let's see. This I have come up with. I have struggled for months and months. I knew I wanted to use this layout because, number one, I had a whole bunch of them. Number two, I just like the way that it cuts down into little bits. My trying to get on top of my physical well-being of in any way, shape, or form it just overwhelms me. So if I can take small bits, I think it'll be much easier. I have basically decided personal hygiene and my bedroom hygiene, because I'm learning, I'm trying to do less in bed other than sleep. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm trying to maintain that. This is the top 2 box sections are intake, medications, the amount of water, the amount of soda, the amount of anything that I'm putting, I list up here. Movement, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this, but I like having a spot to be proud of. These are very much ta-da rather than to-do sections. These are my symptoms per day. This will be my yoga section. I do love yoga, but I am very inconsistent with it. So I want to create some yoga flows to address specific physical problems that I'm having. I'm starting with my knees. This section is what I meditate and visualize on. I actually do that on a very regular basis. I just haven't tracked which ones I've used and if they're successful or not. So, yeah, I haven't necessarily, this week apparently it didn't work at all. And then I was able to get going on a little bit better on it. You can see that it's still not perfect, which is fine. I don't even check off everything as I should, and that makes me feel so good. I don't know why I don't do it. So this was the last week. This brought up an interesting thing. Adding the lines to this is very, very simple. I use my template. It's so easy to use. When I have something like this, it's so easy to fill out, as you can see. For whatever reason, I didn't put lines in this week, in this day. It just didn't happen for whatever reason. And I didn't record anything, so I definitely need, like you can see with the months, having a little place for me to put the details in. That works. Apparently, can't say much more than, wow, come on. Do need to get better with this section. The layout makes me feel good. I just need to feel good after using it. This 6th section is my excuse me, my magic week, or my magic section. Now, magic is, through my definition, is the application of one's will on your environment. So this is me trying to get myself into interacting with the environment and with my spiritual practices more. And I've been working with it, massaging it. I like having it here. I used to have it in a different format, and that was fine, but it was extremely time consuming, and so I didn't get to it very frequently. And I never finished anything that I started, which was it really didn't let me get in there. So I have decided that I will be doing divination blurbs on each of these pages, since the blurbs in my other weeks are working so well. I do tarot, oracle, runes, and bones, so I'll pick one set of those and use them through the month and play with that. I will also be tracking lunar and solar phases to somewhat, but more importantly, things like Mercury retrograde, which is kind of entertaining to track. as you can see, this is where it really was driven home. Linear planning does not work for me. I didn't even touch this week. Didn't even touch it. So, yeah. This week I think is very, very pretty. I love the colors. I love the feel of it. I didn't use it. I thought, oh, I'm going to embrace diversity. I actually really enjoy diversity, but I don't celebrate Hanukkah, and I don't know that I even know anybody personally well enough to understand Hanukkah. So this just didn't work. It again, colors are beautiful. Went nowhere with it. Went absolutely nowhere with it. This week I was able to do a goal setting. Where do I need to be focusing my energies on? Those kinds of things here in this week, a tarot spread. So I did use that, but again, Saturnalia it's not a holiday that I use, so for that purpose, it just did not work. Now Yule, I celebrate Yule. Didn't use this at all. I think it is gorgeous. I love it, but these kicked it out of my head. I had stuff in the already defined box and didn't redefine by putting lines in for task lists or boxes in for any observances of any sort. So although I love it, it just didn't work. And then this one, again, I will not be using the stickers for holidays that I just don't use. Love the colors. A lot of the accessories I'll be able to cannibalize and use throughout the year. I do buy the seasonal, I don't remember the name of it, it's the thick seasonal section. Thick seasonal book from Happy Planner, because it gives me a jumping off point, but I'll be cannibalizing the stuff from it rather than using the whole thing. They're just not mine, so it doesn't lend itself to easy usage. Then the back section, I actually use, these are my note sections, I actually use this backwards. I prefer grid to write on, especially for longhand notes and things. So I just use this backwards like this. This is just very thin school notebook paper that I put punches in for thought processes. As you can see here, I was working on the sections and the use of in the planner. So that is the end of my 2024 year, and obviously December of that year. If you have any suggestions, if you have any questions, if you want to chat, say hi, drop me a note, and let me know what you think. Goodbye.